Don't be alarmed. The quasi-shimmering light before you is a trans-dimensional gateway to other worlds, other voices, other thoughts, and other realities. Up feels like down, and down feels like the number 7 on a Wednesday morning. Don't worry. That quivering, blood-boiling sensation under your eyebrows is all a part of the charm. Welcome to the PCC Multiverse.
And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Pop Culture Cosmos. Inside Sports Fantasy Football, the Lakers Fast Break and Game Source. Truly appreciate everyone out there is checking out all of our shows. And if you can, please give us that fantabulous 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Well, it's fantabulous. That's a new word I just created. I'm hoping that's the word that will trend in 2025, but we'll see. But of course, also as well, please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, PCC Multiverse, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, State of Pro Wrestling, and more. All right, bring to you right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. And also, we give a big shout out to all the radio stations around the world that have played us for so many years now. My gosh, the time flies when you're having fun. And how could I not have fun without my good friend Indeed? She is back, coffee drinking. I'm envious because I don't have that caffeine myself. It is a good friend Indeed. She is the mastermind. Don't tell Robbie Ross about that. In regards to Vampires and Vitae, Beyond a Wishlight, and so much more. It is my good friend. It is the LARP extraordinaire, Melinda Barkhouse Ross. And Melinda, great to have you here in your soundproof room.
Yes. Yeah. Back in the closet. I thought I would go back to the early days.
Isn't that a song? Back in the closet? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Be that as it may, it is always great to see you, my friend. And I'm so glad we could talk this week because we have a ton of stuff that's ready to talk about because it is a huge weekend just before the Thanksgiving holiday. How you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good. How you been doing?
Good. I know that I've got a lot of stuff to talk to you about, including something you have been wanting to see and check out in Dune Prophecy.
Yeah.
Also, as well, want to talk about Wicked. Of course, Gladiator 2. What's the, instead of Barbenheimer, isn't it like Wickiator or something like that? I don't know.
Wickiator.
Or Glackid or something like that. It's supposed to, to combine, go see them both type deal.
Yeah.
Also, as well, Microsoft put out some couple games this week, both having their issues. We'll see what Xbox is going to do about that. But also, PlayStation and Xbox are competing on the updates, and that's important to Melinda as well. I caught Cobra Kai Part 2, so we will go ahead and talk about that as well. And of course, I want to go ahead and mention to her my thoughts on the Penguin Season 2 and also Red 1 as well. My friend, so much to discuss. First up, though, we got to go ahead and hit the big story, and that is this weekend with Wicked.
Yes.
That is debuting on theaters and also as well Gladiator 2. It already, as we're talking about hit right now, already hit $19 million in previews. It's churning up to be probably about a $150 to $175 million opening weekend domestically, one of the biggest weekends in quite some time. This is something where it's a event movie for a lot of people. I know my daughters are crazy about it. They want to go check it out. Your thoughts on Wicked, but don't start singing if you're in an AMC theater. God forbid you'd want to do that because, AMC says no singing while watching Wicked.
I mean, I guess that's a thing. Especially, yeah. I don't think I would like that if I was in the theater and somebody started singing along. I would be annoyed. I would be that person. So thank you, AMC, for laying down that law. But I'm also in my mid-40s and a little cranky all the time, so
I could just see you getting up. And that's when the Canadian accent will come up. What's this on a boot?
yeah. No, honestly, I would never. I'm not a confrontation person. I can't handle it. So no,
Okay.
I would. There would be like looks and like side eye and stuff, but I don't think I could possibly say anything to anybody. I don't. I never would. Oh my god, I would sooner crawl on the floor.
All right, fair enough. So already combating that,
Yeah.
the studio has announced that there will be sing-along. See, they've already planned ahead. They've already found out that you don't need to wait until like the movie's already been well into its run. They're already planning on sing-along showings at some
Oh,
point in
good.
time.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
they're
That's great. Go sing your heart
yes,
out.
yes, absolutely. So it is, of course, Wicked, and the best thing about Wicked is that it's being also critically praised as far as the adaptation from the musical, and that this is part one of a part two for Wicked. So looking forward to seeing how it progresses. And then, of course, there's a sequel that's already been greenlit. This could be really huge for the holiday season, Melinda.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to break records. I do. I have that feeling about it. And
Mhm.
it's going to be one of those things where like so many people are going to go see it that people are almost going to feel obligated to go see it because it's what everybody's talking about. I feel like we're going to get into that situation with this movie.
I agree with you. It's gonna be like, okay, what's all the hubbub about? And then they're gonna
Yeah.
go like see it like Barbie was. Barbie, it
Yeah.
steamrolled, it gained some momentum, gained some like, okay, why is everybody oh, I get it now. I get
Yeah.
why they're seeing it. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So it's I think a great way to go ahead and just express yourself as an individual to go and check out these type of films to see if it's something that you might want to get you more into musicals, into maybe going into the theater more often. So maybe it's a great advertisement for heading to your local theater wherever you're at and checking out some of the stuff as well, because it often gets overlooked by going to the theater and seeing that experience as far as a musical theater, local show places as far as live uh, you know, I guess musicals of some type,
Hmm.
whether it's Wicked or something else. Maybe this will also spur the growth of people heading back to musical theaters and seeing that live in living color.
It's absolutely I think going to do that. I don't think that Broadway is hurting. I don't know. I haven't kept up on my
Well,
Broadway
not
news,
Wicked per
but
se, but I just think your local town and whether you live in LA, Chicago, Texas, wherever, just your local theater to see what the local troops are doing, and maybe that'll inspire a lot of people to check it out.
sure, it may also inspire people to get involved in a different way too in stage
Good point.
production and stuff like that because I can't carry a tune in a bucket with a lid on it. I just can't do it. So if I was going to attempt to get involved in any kind of way, it would be behind the scenes. So see me with a hammer trying to put together sets and stuff like that. But it's always interesting to get involved in theater locally, and they're always looking for people. So
That's not what Robbie Ross says. Robbie Ross says you can hold a tune. Oh, Robbie, take out the
Well,
trash.
I mean, that's a very specific to me sound. So of course I get
La
it
la
right
la la
every
la,
time.
take out
Uh-huh.
the trash.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the holiday version. That's
Okay,
the
there you
remix that comes out about this time of year.
go. Okay, I'm just asking. Okay, all right, all right. But it is Wicked. Also coming out again is Gladiator 2 from Ridley Scott, just because he couldn't leave things well enough alone. Uh, it's so funny because he didn't directly make the sequel to Blade Runner. He executive produced it. Denis Villeneuve did an outstanding job on it, but he also didn't direct the sequel to Alien. You know
Right.
that because Aliens, James Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow he wants to go ahead after 20 some odd years and make the sequel to Gladiator.
Yeah.
A movie that didn't really need a sequel has a sequel. I'm probably going to go ahead and check it out at some point. Your thoughts on Gladiator 2? It is absolutely doing well itself. Opened strong last week in markets outside the U.S. This week, it's first weekend in the U.S. that it's opening up at. Your thoughts on Gladiator 2?
I will go see Gladiator 2 before I'll go see Wicked.
Really?
That's just my preference. I loved the Gladiator movie. Robbie and I watch it every couple of
Uh,
months, really. It's
it
never
is.
it's never a bad time to put that movie on. Ever. It's always right.
I've seen it 4 or 5 times myself. It's a great movie if you have the DVD or Blu-ray to test out your sound system.
Yeah.
I think it really is, especially the opening
Mm-hmm.
with they're in Germania,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just the sounds of
Yeah, that opening battle, yeah.
yes, that
Woo!
opening battle scene. It's really good and distinct. I like it so much. And then you had Hans Zimmer, just
Oh
creating
man.
such a beautiful score throughout, and
Yeah.
obviously the invention story, and are you not entertained and all that stuff, and it's just a really was a good movie. I really
Oh,
enjoyed it. I know
yeah.
people still criticize it for winning the best Oscar for best film. I thought it was a great film. I enjoyed it, and again, I've seen it quite a few times and thoroughly enjoy it like you do. I'm apprehensive, but I probably will go see it, like I just mentioned, because of the fact that the lore has garnered okay to good reviews. So it's not like it hasn't been bad to anyone. I'm still wondering why they didn't get the kid who is still an actor that, as far as
Mhm.
I don't know if we're supposed to be breaking record there or as far as spoilers, anyone, but it is the Paul Mescal is playing Maximus's son, who you saw from the first film.
Right.
Why didn't they just use the kid from the first film? Uh, I haven't seen. I'm looking for stories. I'm looking for comics quotes. Only thing I see is the actual actor who played Russell Crowe's son in the movie original. To just wish the project well or whatnot. Didn't sound bitter or anything like that. But yeah, I'm just it puzzles me. But I guess Paul Mescal, he's not a name actor to lead this movie, so that also concerned me. But I guess he's doing a solid enough job. But it's Denzel Washington. I think everybody's talking about that is
Yeah.
what the go away is, not Pedro Pascal or Return of Connie Nielsen, the brothers, twins, bad guys in the film. It's the delicious performance I've seen one person quote as for Denzel Washington, who really he's just doing Denzel Washington at this point in time, and that is not bad at all.
No, if the worst we get is Denzel doing Denzel, then I mean I'm still gonna take it every single time.
One of the
Truly.
finest actors
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So good. And I'm excited to see him in this like a period piece like this. I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna be a different Denzel. I'm excited. I hope
Are you
anyway.
Are you going to force, because you said you're going to go see the movie? Are you going to force Robbie Ross to go in a gladiator's outfit when you go see the film?
No, that's when we get back home.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. That's all I need to know. I guess you will be entertained, and I'll leave it at that. All righty then. It is, though, Gladiator 2 and also Wicked coming out to the theaters. Are you not entertained by either one of these films? Are you going to go check it out? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please let us know. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Well, one segment down, 3 to go right here at the PCC Multiverse. It is Melinda Barkhouse Ross, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this. Truly appreciate it. wanted to get out of the way a couple thoughts on some of the TV I've watched recently, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on some of the TV you watched recently as well. The Penguin season 2 came to an end recently on HBO Max, and I just wanted to say how uh, surprised I was at how good this series was, and as far as how well it was portrayed in regards to just everything going on with as far as Gotham. They played it more like a Sopranos mob style show,
Yeah.
and I think it's what really worked for it. Have you had a chance to either check it out or hear much about the Penguin season one? Excuse me, Penguin season one.
Yeah, I've
In
heard.
regards to it, it's really really good.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing. And it's one of those situations where we're between switching around what uh streaming services we have right now. We're just kind of making the
Hmm.
switches. So we haven't had access to it lately, but we're coming back around to it soon. So that's when I'm going to pick it up. But I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I've seen nothing but really intriguing shorts and stuff like that from the show, where people like upload scenes and stuff like that. And yeah, it does look impressive, and it's so wonderful that Colin Farrell, like you forget that that's Colin Farrell.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
absolutely.
crazy. That's wild.
I don't. Yeah, I know he wanted to just get out of that and leave that for once he was done with it. But
Yeah,
I gonna have to tell him if I was Warner Brothers, you may have to put that latex back on, son, because you
yeah,
did a great job, and we're
yeah.
probably
You're a
gonna
victim of
get
your own success on this one.
exactly.
Yeah,
Christian Milotti is also, I think, the surprise of the entire series because she really, as Sophia Falcone, steals a lot of the spotlight. And so when you watch it, watch her performance because it is really, really a good performance by her. I mean, she carries her weight. The show is basically centered around her battling the Penguin, and it is it's just really that good because she at you start to believe she is at his level in regards to power as
right.
far as what the hold that they have over Gotham, and just it is really really a great performance by her elevating the Sophia Falcone character from the pages of the comic books, which that character has never been really elevated before like this. So yeah, it is really good. If you really get a chance, please check it out. It is good, really, really good. And speaking of HBO Max, I know you want to see when you finally get it. It's Doom Prophecy, which started up,
Yeah,
which takes place. It's so funny because they even spell it out for you. It's 10,000 years after now, but 10,000 years before the events of Dune. Just wanted to let you guys know. So it's like, okay, all right. So
yeah,
it's a prequel to the Denis Villeneuve Dune movies, set there as far as the beginnings of the House of Harkonnen and the beginnings of all the different houses and the
right.
battles they're in, and then of course, the controlling parties and all that. Your thoughts on Dune Prophecy and how you think it will parlay the Dune universe? Again, does it scratch that itch for Dune? I don't know. But we're not going to get a Dune movie for a long time because Denis Villeneuve is working on another project first. But in doing so, Dune Prophecy, if it's good, may do just that.
Yeah, I think it's only going to add to like the richness of that universe as well. And I mean it's an intriguing premise too. I can't wait to learn more about it. Yeah. No, I it's one of those shows that Robbie and I talk about all the time. We're like, when does that start up again? Because we need to make sure that we're on top of that. So sounds like we need to get on top of that.
It started. The debut show was this past weekend, so
Yeah.
hopefully you get a chance to check it out. It is Doom Prophecy, and as soon as I'm able to go ahead and catch up on it, I'll share my thoughts on this show as well. But I wanted to ask you, what have you been watching? What have you been checking out recently that's really been catching your eye on the TV?
Honestly, I haven't had time.
Mm,
Yeah,
it's
isn't
good.
that
That's a good
terrible?
thing. That's not so
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, no. For somehow, this introvert who likes to stay at home and works from her closet, has ended up with a group of people who like to hang out and stuff and get together, and yeah, it's been weird, but busy and good and delightful. So I haven't really had a chance to take in a whole lot of TV other than anime. But even the new anime that's come out that Robbie and I are getting ready to watch, you know, it's been out for a minute, but we haven't had time to sit down and watch it together. So as far as I know, he hasn't started to watch it without me.
Okay. All right. I see him back there. I see him. He's got
Right?
that remote in his hand.
Yeah.
Uh, would that some of that be Arcane season 2?
Arcane season 2 is on our list. Oh gosh, I can't believe I'm not gonna remember. Blue Block, I believe there's a new season of that out. I
Mhm.
think that's the one. Gosh, now I'm doubting myself, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. The new season just dropped on Crunchyroll.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to catch up with my daughter, one of my daughters, Demon Slayer. I got to
Yep.
go ahead and catch up on that because that finally hit Netflix. So I got to catch up on that. So yeah, we'll see
Oh
what
wait, there
comes
is
out.
another anime. Oh gosh, yeah. Now and I can't remember the title of it. All I can do is tell you that there's a girl who's a psychic with like an inexplicably hot grandma, and
Okay.
her friend really believes in aliens. What's it called? It's called Dun Dun Dun. Are you sure?
Okay.
You're sure that's what it's Dun Dun Dun? Anyway, it's
No
really
wonder you
good.
didn't remember it.
Yeah, right. It's really really good. It's not quite like you must watch it the way that I was adamant that you must watch Blue Eyed Samurai, but it is definitely one that should be very close to your top of to watch list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Uh, dun dun dun. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Good to
Trust me,
know.
it's really great. It's so
Uh,
good. It doesn't it's almost like it has the audacity to be as good as it is.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But the one thing I did catch on Netflix that I did cram through was part 2 of Cobra Kai.
Yes. You and Cobra Kai. You never gave up, did you?
I never gave up.
No.
Again, I just don't know what it is about Cobra Kai that has endeared me.
Hmm.
Well, I guess I do know. It's the cheese. The thing that turned me off to the entire Karate Kid series in the 80s and 90s, all the movies, anything relating to Karate Kid, just totally turned me off. Anything that time in my life, maybe as a younger individual, just the cheese, I just never wanted to see it, never wanted to experience it, never wanted to even deal with it. Yet somehow, when I started watching it on YouTube and how it evolved Cobra Kai, it just seemed to connect with me. Maybe William Zabka's story, who plays Johnny, who's the one who lost in the original Karate Kid movie, and how his life had been so down and out. It just shifted everything around. And at first, made Ralph Macchio's character kind of a heel because he had
Right, yeah.
achieved all that success as the
Yeah.
car owner, as far as the car sale owner, and he owns his own car lot, and he's all successful doing his commercials. And William Zabka, just barely living by, barely skating by, fired from this, fired from that, failed at this, failed at that, and just to see them still evolve while still maintaining that rivalry, that tension, the fact that they're able to integrate virtually all the main characters or even side characters or even characters that did one-offs in these previous movies, they're
Right.
bringing back and integrating them into the series. It's very intelligently laid out. Now the cheese, you have to really embrace the cheese. You have to, it almost feels like cheese whiz on a cracker. You have to just like it just, you have to go ahead and embrace it because it is there in space. The dialogue, it's still extra cheesy. The storylines, it's still extra cheesy, but if you embrace it, it is something that I think you really enjoy. I think a lot of people have enjoyed. That's why it was first a nostalgia kick. Okay, when it came out, oh, it's a return to the Karate Kid world, whatnot. That's great. But the reason why it lasted so long, the reason why it's really one of the few successes from that original YouTube original slate was because it creates storylines that, while cheesy, are still really good to watch, really enjoyable to watch. And I will give it high marks again for part 2, where there's the tournament for all the dojos to prove out the best in the world.
Right.
Although, again, they fall in love with having the world's longest fights. They seem to do that. They've already done it like twice, I think, already, and they did it again in this part 2, because it's not even done. This is part 2 of a 3-part session of episodes. That's what Netflix likes to do now for successful stories. Just you want to string them out as long as you can. So I will say again, they do some things that you have to just roll your eyes or just gloss over because of the fact that they're so cheesy. Like, for instance, there'll be a battle right there with between 2 main characters, and then one will get like a bloody lip or something like that. And then all of a sudden they'll go into a brawl for like 20 minutes. The whole entire 60 different karate specialists are going into a brawl for 20 minutes and nobody has a scratch on them. And then all of a sudden it ends with there's somebody, with bleeding or whatnot. So I'm not giving away too many spoilers there. I'm kind of being vague for a reason, but it's again, you have to roll your eyes, but really, it's just the cheese is just so good, Melinda. It's just so good.
Well, and I mean, no disrespect.
Oh, here's that cheese whiz.
Yeah, no disrespect. But if you go back now and you watch the original Karate Kid movies, those were also quite cheesy.
Well, that's why I didn't like it as a kid.
You didn't like it when you were a kid? I loved the movies when I was a kid.
No, I hated the movie. That's what I said. I've always prefaced it by saying I hated the movies. I hated everything relating to the Karate Kid in the 80s, 90s because it was so cheesy. I couldn't stand it. It was corny as hell.
Daniel was so whiny. Oh my God, he was so whiny.
And the kid was like, he was so empowered, even though he did do some pretty shady stuff himself.
Right?
The crank kick. Yeah, that's not exactly wasn't legal itself, but okay, all right. But I'm just saying it was the reason why it was so off-putting to me back in the 80s and 90s is the reason why it's so endearing to me today. And I don't get why. Maybe it's just because I'm older, but yeah. And the fact is now they are so successful at it. You hear that they're branching off after this is done, after Cobra Kai is done. The Karate Kid movies with Daniel are coming back.
Right.
And he can thank Cobra Kai for that.
Yep. That's true. You are 100% right. And the cheese factor, you're right, is high. But I mean, if you were that's funny. I wonder if you feel like a certain nostalgia, though, even though you didn't like the movies, if you still, maybe the cheese feels familiar now. You're like, oh, this feels like recognizable cheese whiz.
Well, I had that with other properties as well, like E.T., for instance. While everybody was going to see E.T., I just thought, E.T. from home, they're going to have some, Reese's Pieces. That was cheesy. Maybe I will go back and enjoy it now. If they went back to, or if they do something in that nature now these days, maybe I would. But yeah, it's just Cobra Kai is just so fun to watch.
You know what the difference is? You're a dad now.
Maybe.
There it is. Maybe. That's the answer.
Solved it. Okay.
That's it.
Solved.
Yes.
All right.
You have a soft spot for all the dad jokes, so it makes sense that this cheesiness is exactly your flavor now.
You've hit it right on the head.
Oh, what a dad.
What a dad indeed. But it is Cobra Kai season 5, part 2 / I don't know what else. They're just dragging it out for all they can. Part 3 comes next. Yeah, I know. Part 3, sorry, I didn't mean to make you spill your coffee. Part 3 is coming out next year, but you tell us your thoughts. Are you keeping up with Cobra Kai? please let us know. It is worth your time. It is so cheesy, but it is so fun to watch. I have a smile on my face. When you have a smile on your face when you watch it, it's doing its job.
You're
Please let
doing
us
all
know
right.
your thoughts. Yes, absolutely. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, 1/2 hour down, 1/2 hour to go here on the I spilled Melinda's coffee here at the PCC Multiverse. Melinda, we're talking about, of course, the battles between PlayStation and Xbox. Although Xbox says it's not a battle, we're just going to appear on PlayStation consoles anyways, and then you come over to Game Pass, blah 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 blah. But something happened this week. Convenient timing, very convenient timing for updates for both, I guess, Game Pass and also as well the PlayStation Portal about streaming from the cloud
Yeah.
as far as the library of games on Xbox, as far as a different library you're able to stream out there and be able to access easier on the cloud. And with PlayStation Portal, you'll be able to not just have to stream it from your PS5, you can stream it if you have the correct PlayStation Plus platform, stream it from the cloud as well. Tell us your thoughts on the PlayStation Portal side. How big of an update is this as far as PlayStation Portal is concerned?
It sounds like a pretty significant update. I honestly I haven't looked at it, so excuse me. I don't know, but I mean, if PlayStation and Xbox are doing something at the same time, it has to be a big update for both,
Mhm.
right? Because it just feels like if it's happening at the same time, then there's a major reason for it. So it would have to be incredibly significant. I can't imagine it just being like oh, I don't know. Nope, that's too crude. I don't want to say that.
We've already gone there with Robbie and the
I,
Gladiator
I
series.
know. I can't have two in one show. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find a way to go around it. It just feels like something that is going to be more significant than a duck's fart in the breeze.
Okay. And that wasn't too bad.
No, it was better. It was better than what I originally had. It was still a little bit, kind of blue a little bit, but it was better than what was originally there. So
All
yeah.
right. But
It just like it's not going to be a whimper. It's gonna be something significant. It's gonna open something up. It has to.
and while it's nice for Xbox to be able to open up your library even more and access it
Yeah.
from the cloud, I think for the PlayStation Portal users, I think this is an even bigger update because of the fact that, you were just tied to whatever it is you had on your hard drive of your PlayStation 5. And that's all. That's the only
Right.
thing you can access on your PlayStation Portal. But this way, accessing it via the cloud, you'll be able to reach and play more games right there. I played in recent months off of Xbox's Game Pass. I've been playing a lot of my games off the cloud.
Yeah.
And just I enjoyed it. I haven't had very much in lag issues now. I am probably more fortunate than many because the fact is that I guess the Wi-Fi when you have the local Cox cable here is pretty solid in doing that. Not everybody has that luxury, but
That's true. Yeah.
still being able to go, especially on the PlayStation platform, to go on your handheld, the PlayStation Portal, once you start using it and connect it, but not to just play or not to be able to just have to play the only thing that's on your hard drive to be able
Right.
to expand to more games. That is something that I think is a quality of life improvement. I
Yeah.
think PlayStation needs to be applauded for. And despite the fact that they've had a very shaky year, in my opinion, with the PlayStation 5 Pro being at an ungodly amount, but
Yeah.
people still wanted the collector's edition. Uh, the release schedule hasn't been terrific. Astrobot, though, has been a very pleasant surprise. This, I think, is also, again, another very pleasant surprise for PlayStation.
Yeah, hopefully it sets up a really great 2025 to be a PlayStation fan. I'm hoping for because this year definitely was a rough year.
It was, and you as a kind of recent PlayStation 5 owner, you were
Yeah.
expecting to get, at least choose a bevy of games. So I think this whole console generation has been very reluctant to have specific games to that console that makes it special. And I think that's one of the reasons why this generation will probably not be looked fondly enough at, because
Yeah.
we're over 4 years in this generation, and how many games realistically have been on or exclusive games have been on both of these systems. It's been kind of a disappointing venture for both so far, Melinda.
Yeah, they've got to find a way to make both of them feel I guess, I don't know, special, I guess, if that's a really lame way to put it, but
Mhm.
I just think that they need to make me feel as passionate about my PS5 as I felt about my PS4. Um, I still sometimes think about just putting my PS4 back on and, playing Diablo 3 because they won't take all my stuff from me and knock me down 25 levels. Stuff like that. Um, yeah, I don't guess I don't just have that same passion for the PS5 as I did for the PS4. And that to me is something that, well, I guess they already have my money, so it doesn't matter. But in terms of my likelihood of getting like a PS6 or whatever the next version is going to be called, my likelihood of even getting it 2 years into the next generation is pretty unlikely. This just hasn't been a good experience. It hasn't felt good. It hasn't felt like I invested my money wisely in my PS5. So yeah, it's been a bit of a letdown.
They still haven't stopped in many cases, especially third party distributors, third party companies, still haven't stopped sending games to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One because of the fact they have had very little confidence
Yeah.
in the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X. And it's something where, you can blame a lot of it on COVID, but it's now 4 years removed from that time period. We should have evolved and developed where they're coming out more frequently and more often. Xbox, and we'll get into that right now. I mean, they're bunching everything up right now. Xbox is finally coming out with its own releases. This week was Stalker 2 and Flight Simulator 2024 on just back-to-back days. They released them out. Both had bugs, both had problems and issues. I think for the Flight Simulator crew, I think for that niche audience, that core audience, they're kind of upset about that, but I think they'll eventually iron it out. For Stalker 2, I think people need to be more patient in regards to that, because I kind of concerned why Microsoft maybe put this out, when they did. Maybe they should have held out Stalker 2 a little bit longer, because the fact that they're based out of the Ukraine, Melinda. So there's some
Mhm.
things that have been going on in the Ukraine. Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
they have their
Little bit happening
battles.
there.
Yeah, a little bit happening there.
Yeah.
Battles, war, things like that.
Hmm.
So they just the development of this game has been delayed already. I understand it, but I didn't feel the need to bring out Stalker 2 in an unfinished form. It's not the level of Cyberpunk 2077. They've had a day one patch that has already fixed many of the bugs and issues on it, but still, I don't want people to have a bad impression of this game solely because I want this game to really succeed because of the development stuff. I'm not a huge Stalker fan by any stretch of the imagination. I've only played it in sparring moments in previous times. I want this game to succeed for the individuals who've had to go through so much through the years in development of Stalker 2. I really want this game to succeed, and I'm hoping it does.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's definitely a story to tell, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes just talking about those stories is enough to help a video game get in front of people who maybe wouldn't have given it a shot before. So
there's a behind the scenes doc you can actually see on YouTube that tells that story in detail. I do recommend it to anyone out there that's more interested in delving into their story about the studio involved in making Stalker 2. So if you get a chance, please check it out. It's about an hour, and if you get a chance, it is really goes in depth about the circumstances that they've had to overcome in regards to making this game. So again, I'm really rooting for the team behind Stalker 2, and hopefully that will work out. They can iron out everything. But I'm also hoping that Indiana Jones, which is coming out in 3 weeks, does not have those same kind of issues. It's not of the three releases that they're having in recent days. Stalker 2, Flight Simulator 2024, and now Indiana Jones on the 9th of December. Indiana Jones is the most high profile. It is the one that they cannot afford Microsoft to really goof up on, because it would leave a really bad impression if they do.
Yeah, and I don't I don't like this kind of seeming trend that we're seeing where they're putting out like an unfinished game and then doing a patch on day one to fix everything. I don't like why don't I would rather wait another month for you to fix all of that as I download it the first time instead of, I don't know, maybe that's incorrect. But it feels sloppy to me. I don't like that.
Yeah, and again, I'm hoping they'll get all the things stuff ironed out. But that seems to be more the norm, where these games, these
Yeah.
high-profile AAA games, they come out in an unfinished state, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation, and they're so reliant on a day one patch, just like fixing
Yeah.
everything, and
Yeah.
it's not necessarily the case. Star Wars Outlaws just came out with its patch months later, huge patch that is fixing some of the things, that major complaints that gamers were talking about, what was wrong with it in the first place. But it's almost like trying to put out the fire after the forest has already been burnt down in the case of
Yeah.
Star Wars Outlaws, because that game's fate has already been decided because of the sales, for that have already taken place on it. So it's almost too late, too little too late in that cause. But these day one patches, I just wish they could just go ahead, not like the old days. I don't want to stand like out there, like I'm sitting out there in the middle of the lawn shouting "old man on the lawn" type deal. But man, they seem to be able to finish games a lot better back in previous eras. Maybe I'm just again being nostalgic and through a veiled filter of eyes there, but I really think that the crunch, the time constraints, the things that they're doing now is not conducive for the best game making that's out there with what they're doing right now. There just seems so reliant on patching it up on the fly. It's kind of disappointing if you're a gamer.
Do you suppose that there's an element of right now where the victim of the technology that they're using to create the games? Like perhaps it's not doing something fast enough, or it's they're getting lost in too many of the details because you can see so much now with the new gen consoles and like the incredibly clear TVs and all of that kind of stuff. So there's an expectation that even the blur in the background has to be something now. So I wonder how much of that plays into all of these deadlines that are being consistently missed.
That's true. That's a good point. And maybe we should be more cognizant of that, because the fact that, you know what, it is something we need to be reticent of as far as how these games are being developed. And again, the price tag doesn't make anything easier with these AAA
Right.
games being
Mhm.
costing 100, 150, 200, 250 million. What
Yeah.
Concord, it rumored up to be up to $400 million before it got, canceled and whatnot. So, yeah, again, I understand they're under a lot of pressure to put it out ASAP by, Big Brother that's watching them, but still, coming out in unfinished form leaves such a bad taste in gamers' mouth, and it's so hard to overcome that. No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk 2077. Those are
Yeah.
the rare games that have overcome their initial bugginess and initial issues and backlash from the gaming community to overcome that to be able to thrive eventually on a platform or platforms. I just don't see it being as key for success or being a good way to go ahead and continue on making these games.
I wonder if some of that success from the cyberpunk debacle, I wonder how much of it was, and maybe this is dumb, but I wonder how much of it could have been influenced by Keanu Reeves' involvement, where people like kept maybe giving it a chance. Do you suppose there's like good Keanu Reeves vibes or something that were attached to it that made people okay with the way that things were rolled out, or was this early enough in the buggy release and then multiple patches that we weren't quite annoyed by it yet? I wonder.
I wonder if that had an effect on Indeed, but those are our thoughts. But getting back to the PlayStation Portal and also as well Xbox, they do come out with cloud updates. I understand people are still apprehensive about using the cloud, but if you are embracing the cloud, please let us know your thoughts if this is a big quality of life improvement for the PlayStation Portal and Xbox on more cloud access for your games. Please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, before we head on out, it's almost that time. Since next week we will have the weekend off because it'll be Thanksgiving.
Right.
You will have a Gerald free weekend next weekend. I know you're looking forward to that. That and of course Robbie Ross in the Gladiator's outfit. But be that as it may, Black Friday is coming around, and of course I know that Josh and I on our annual huge Black Friday show coming up will go ahead and cover a lot of it. But are there any Black Friday deals that you're looking for right now?
Honestly, Gerald, some of the stuff that we just moved into a new place, so we're still in the process of really setting up and kind of finalizing the podcast room, and we're deciding if we want to do any live streaming again with any of our shows. We're working on putting together, some new tables with some new faces, new voices, and new games. So probably a lot of my Christmas list this year will probably be podcast room related. And it's not going to be like we need new cameras. I think our cameras are great. We've got the Elgato Facecam Pros, the newer, flatter, skinnier, and chunky. Anyway, so I think that's probably going to be a lot of what my Christmas list is. It's going to be a very techie Christmas in the Ross house this year, I think.
No, okay, fair enough. Yeah. I do want to let people know that the prices are starting to float out. BlackFriday.com has their listings. They finally released to Walmart Black Friday, Target's Black Friday. They've all started to come out, starting to get some good deals. I know that Josh and I will cover quite a bit of it, but I do know if you're interested in your set of TVs, I'll throw this down for right now. 75-inch televisions going for right now right around $400.
Wow.
That's not a bad deal for something out there if you're needed.
But remember, it's not going to fit in the back of the Toyota Corolla. You're going to need a friend with a truck.
Yes, so that's notwithstanding
Don't
true.
Forget, the TV won't fit in the car.
You know what? I've seen that before. When I go in the shop right there during holiday shopping, during Black Friday, I do usually see that when I drive to the parking lot, somebody trying to fit these unusually large square peg into the unusually small round hole of a car that's just not able to fit. And then the husband's trying to force it and jam it in there or take it out of the box. That's like another thing, to save some space, and scratching it as he puts it in the door and try to, And I could just see, as I drive by, I see the look on the wife's face.
Yeah.
Kind of looks very angry at the husband for not planning
well,
this out.
Because he won't listen. He won't listen. That's why.
Yeah.
If he'd have just done it the way that she said, it would have been fine, and there wouldn't be a big scratch across the screen before they even get it home.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I don't know anything about that.
No, not at all. Would the Gladiator correct you on that, or?
All I'm saying is you're going to need a pickup truck. Even your SUV probably isn't going to fit a 75-inch TV. You gotta think ahead. You gotta plan ahead for that one.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. But I just wanted to ask because, it is, of course, Black Friday coming up, and Josh and I, hopefully on the Monday show, we'll be able to go ahead and bring you some of the best deals. Interesting, though, the one interesting thing, there's only one game listing in the entire 37 pages of the Walmart. I'll take another look to make sure. There's only one video game itself that was listed. Was
Really?
Nintendo. Yeah, it was Nintendo Switch game. I didn't see a listing, and again, I'm going to take a second look, and I will correct myself if that's the case. But outside of the PlayStation 5, which will have a reduction, which it showed, Xbox, which it showed, they just didn't show any real games, which was outside of just a Switch game. So kind of interesting how that worked out. But I'll clarify that if I need to on the Monday show. But yeah, it's one of the things that stuck out to me. But if you're looking for good deals, we'll go ahead and share it on the Monday show. So Black Friday, it is a great time indeed. But before we head out, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and ask you your thoughts on something that I don't get a chance to talk to very much anymore. I've been able to catch up with Don Fobbs in a while in regards to broadcast television. Remember broadcast television?
I do vaguely, yeah.
Okay, all
We
right.
still watch our Las Vegas Golden Knights games on those.
Well, there you go. Go
Yeah,
Knights,
on a
go.
broadcast television. Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going to give everybody a heads up. If they come to Las Vegas and they go see a sporting event and it's the national anthem and they're singing, and there's a certain part of the
Yep.
national anthem when they're
Mhm.
singing, and
Mhm.
through the night, and people scream "night," understand it's because of the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that because people, whenever I go and watch a sporting event, and there's people from out of town, they're catching it, they're sitting next to me, and they just have this goofy look on their face. Why did people just scream "night"? And I have to let them know. Like, oh,
Oh
okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, all
Yeah,
right, there you
there's
go.
another team. There might even be two teams in the league that have the same thing. And I wanna say that one of them is the Dallas Stars. They have something
Mhm.
similar with the national anthem. Please, I could be wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm just pulling this off the top of my head, but it seems to me, yeah, they've got the same kind of play thing that happens. So just be aware when you go into another team's barn, things may be a little bit different.
So what is old is new again, my friend, because when you
Okay.
look at the ratings, of course it is football, 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 and more football. And by the way,
Right.
it's football covering right now as far as the top rated shows that are out there. But there's one show in the top 10 that's a broadcast show that is competing with these football shows, and that is Tracker. CBS's has a series of hit shows once again that are still pleasing audiences out there. And CBS has been the predominant network for broadcast ratings over the course of the past decade for the most part since we've been doing this. What are your thoughts out there on how CBS continues to get it done? My eldest daughter, still loves the FBI's. She checks out some of the other shows on CBS.
Yeah.
She dabs a little bit with the NBC, but it seems to be CBS that tracks for her. But also, it still tracks out there for a lot of older audiences as well.
Yeah, I think that when you can string together 3, 4, 5 really great shows in a row consistently, people are gonna default to you because they can put you on, like, turn on your channel, and they're just going to be entertained throughout the evening. And luckily, happily, there's commercial breaks, I suppose, where you can get up and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of, do some squats or something if you're doing the at-home workout thing. I don't know, what you do in your living room, it's up to you. But that's really kind of some of the bonuses that I see. You can put it on, set it and forget it, if you will. And it's going to give you a bit of variety in terms of the TV shows instead of just having the same show come on over and over and over and over again, like we get with streaming. I guess if you are of the younger generation, that's probably more of what you're really used to. So maybe broadcast TV is kind of a break from that for them. Who knows?
which is weird because it was the reason why people migrated to cable and then to streaming in the first place because of the
Right.
constraints and the regulations of broadcast television. And
Yeah.
there you go. But yeah, 8 million people are watching Tracker. I know that a lot of people have been talking about that show. Wanted to go ahead and give that some love because we never give broadcast television enough love here on the on this show. And then you have the FBI shows. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, which may be the newest hit comedy. That's something that I believe has already gotten a renewal for season 2.
Oh, good.
Matlock, which I talked about with my good friend uh, uh, John Orlando. When we do the wrestling show, he has a show called Matt Talk, talking about old Matlock shows, not talking about the new Matlock show, but he's even complimented the new Matlock show. It's just been very interesting to see how well this new stylized version of Matlock has done so far in the ratings, getting about 6 million per shot. So that's very interesting to see. But yeah, these shows that are on CBS primarily have been really striking a chord with audiences, getting regularly into the 5, 6, 7, and even 8 million viewers out there. It's interesting to see that, still, even with all the choices out there, they're still choosing broadcast television.
Yeah, and I think it may just be an indication that it might be a bit of a break from the streaming stuff.
True.
Yeah, that could be all that it is. Who knows?
Who knows, indeed, but it is, of course, broadcast television, something that we don't bring up enough on this show, but we will. We will try to do that more in the future because it is still warranted out there as far as your time and your eyes are still watching broadcast television. What are your thoughts? Do you still check out stuff on the broadcast TV, or do you just go skipping by, or do you go right to the streaming? Please let us know your thoughts if broadcast or streaming or cable, or how do you watch television? We're curious. Please let us know your thoughts. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, you lasted throughout the entire hour. The coffee made it through.
It did, and I'm fighting my first and only yawn. I'm so impressed with myself.
I am impressed with that as well.
Wow.
Yes, you've been a gladiator yourself for the entire show dealing with
Yeah.
me. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
You know what? A couple of weekends ago, Robbie and I were fortunate enough to have an opportunity to check out a By Night Studios LARP event. We went to check out Darkness Emergent. It was the Las Vegas show, the Las Vegas game that we went to check out. And it was a really fun time. I had an opportunity to play a whole bunch of NPCs. I played a Bahari, so I was a member of the Cult of Lilith, and I had to try to convince people to join the cult. So that was fun. I played a ghoul who was stolen. I was a touchstone for another vampire, so that was like a whole political thing. So that was really neat. I got to play a werewolf, which I had never done before. So that was fun. Oh gosh, what else did I play? There was like 5 different characters anyway that I had throughout the weekend. And yeah, it was great. Their next event comes, I believe it's in January or February. It's in LA. And if you've been coming across anything like that and you thought maybe it might be fun, go ahead, go for it. Give it a shot. Come down to LA. Or wait until they announce the rest of their dates for 2025, because I think this is going to be something that they continue doing for a while. A lot of really good feedback, a lot of positive feedback. And I know that our local group that I'm part of, Desert of Shadows, we had the opportunity to have a lot of our members, get involved with it. We were involved from storytelling to NPCs to just showing up and being fortunate enough to have an opportunity to just be a player in the big game. So it was really fun. It was really cool, and getting a chance to talk to some TikTok influencers were there. Some of the people that are on LA by Night and New York by Night, they were there as well, rubbing elbows with us all. So it was really neat getting an opportunity for that one. Oh, I almost forgot my favorite NPC of the weekend. I got to play an overly polite hunter. So what it was we were a group of these old ladies who were like a knitting circle, and one of our grandchildren got taken by vampires or whatever. So we show up at this vampire gathering with our wooden knitting needles, and we're just like, listen, could you all just leave the children alone? And stuff like that. It was really fun. It was a really great experience. Nobody in our group had a bad time, and there was well over 30 of us, I think, when you put it all together. So out of all of those people, for nobody to have had a bad experience is really impressive. So Jimmy and his crew did a really great job, and it's worth every single penny. Absolutely check it out if you get a chance.
Want to go ahead and thank you so much, Melinda. I'm hoping you and Robbie have a terrific Thanksgiving holiday. And don't be too hard on Robbie when he puts on that gladiator costume, okay?
All right. I'll be nice.
No, you won't. I know. So for Melinda Barkhouse Ross, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here at the PCC Multiverse. I got you.
You did. You did.
Yes.
I think I'm blushing a little bit. Pink.
And here's hoping you have yourself a great